And good evening, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us this evening, or catching us later on VOD, of course. We are the boys from the Baltic Star, and what we do is play narrative games. And you have two of the regular crew with you this evening. Myself, Ben, and in the top right corner of the screen, well, top right corner-ish, Ewan. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hello, Ben. I'm good, thanks. I'm very excited. I'm very happy that I'm under the protection of the other player, the Slayer.
And on the
This evening.
subject of the other player, we have once again joining us for the second part of this story, Sock Fiddler. Good evening. How are you?
Hello, I'm really good actually, and I'm enjoying being in the second part of our one-shot Buffy story. It's very exciting. It's I think we're going to have a good old time, especially if my dice rolls are anywhere near as good as they were before.
Excellent. Well, that's always a good way to look at it, I think. You don't want to be constantly panicking that a single roll of the die could suddenly end in disaster, destruction, catastrophe, failure, abject humiliation, or anything. Don't think about that kind of thing at all. Very important you focus on the positive.
That's really encouraging. Thanks so much. I feel really so much better now.
It is my way.
There was one key D word he avoided there, which makes me a little bit more comfortable.
Well, a quick introduction to where we are. We return to Rome in the year 71 BCE. Mighty Crassus, Rome's most powerful and controlling man, is away from the city during the critical month of February. He's never away from the city, but this year he is, putting down the revolt of the slaves under Spartacus. In the city, Titus Julius, owner and operator of the city's least successful ludus, or gladiator training school, and his son Gaius, are secretly on a different mission, one far more ancient than even Rome itself. Because Julius is a mentor, or something that will in later years become known as a watcher. His son, a practitioner of magic and sorcery. Julius some time ago went searching for a vampire slayer, as watchers do, and because these are ancient Roman times, found her for sale in Capua, where a huge slave market exists. Clarissa, for that is her name, is a Brythonic slave, and Julius paid rather over the odds for her because he knew exactly what he was looking for. Since then, she's been training at the Ludus, and dealing with the sort of low-level supernatural threats that are the bread and butter for the Slayer. This February, like every year, things have been getting more weird than usual. It's a highly important time in the festivals and sequences of Rome. It's a moment where a lot of things are celebrated, a lot of traditions upheld. And on a routine patrol, Clarissa and Gaius found a slave being abducted by some cloaked heavies. They rescued her and went off cleverly using the horses that those heavies had to find that they led them back to a private stable on the Palatine Hill, one that was directly below the palatial home of Crassus himself. It is the early hours of the morning. It is pitch dark. You are standing on a chill-ish February morning on the Palatine Hill, with the wooden gate and fence of a private stable yard in front of you, the looming shape of Crassus's mansion above you. And what would you like to do?
I'm just crouched in the darkness looking really cool.
Doing the Slayer thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't invented those red, very tight leather trousers yet, but it'd be that kind of thing, yeah.
Let me tell you, there's all kinds of things you can do with a stout piece of linen. I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm doing that. Gaius is the one with the brains. I just kick stuff.
Yes, and Gaius did indeed talk to the ponies. Well, one of them. So,
horses.
Wait, didn't you kill the other one? No. Did you kill the other one? You killed the man. Did you kill the one? You did. No, I killed the man, and you just sort of finished him off.
Yes, there was a certain amount of violence and brutality, but then, these are evildoers, and you are vampire slayers. Well, one of you
Well,
is.
I'm a vampire slayer.
Yeah, Clarissa the vampire slayer. So
I thought I'd been promoted then.
a brief overview of the
Gaius,
city of Rome. This obviously is
guy.
very figurative and diagrammatic.
Yeah.
It's not what you'd call perfectly geologically accurate. Yeah, we have, in no uncertain terms, the Palatine Hill just to the west of the Forum. And that's where you are.
Perfect. And are we together at this point?
Yes, yeah, you've literally
Perfect.
just arrived. You glanced up at the sort of slight rise and the scarp slope in front of you, which forms the back wall of this little stable yard. And on top of it is the House of Crassus. It's not somewhere you've been for socialising, you understand, but pretty much everyone in Rome would know Crassus's house when they saw it.
Yeah.
I turn around to Gaius and go, I think we're at Crassus's house.
He sort of gives a questioning, puzzled. Well, yes, we are. Look, it just says. So, what's the plan?
I think, I don't know, that looks like a stable up there. Maybe you should go and, I don't know, ask the horses what's going on.
I think I'm. Really?
What before?
Yeah. Last time, I think though, I just got a general idea of the direction. There's no language in these things. Horses, they're horses. They can't talk.
Okay, I mean, it seems like you're coupling out. I'm not going to lie. What if we just, I don't know. Do you have anything that could be given? Like, can we, like, I don't know, like, is there anybody around us, Ben, that's carrying something that looks of any interest or value whatsoever, like a pot or some flowers or,
All right.
I don't know.
Can I have a notice check from both of you, please? That's for Clarissa. It's going to be 7 plus your D10.
Ooh.
That's notice plus perception, so 4 plus 3.
How many 4 plus 3 plus 1 D10?
1 D10. For Gaius, that's going to be 3 plus 2, so plus 5 plus your 1 D10.
And what's the threshold for success? Oh, it's like the graduated success.
Yeah, it's a graduated success.
Well, that's
16.
a 1 from me.
A total of 16.
Starts for me to continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you get, Ewan?
I rolled a 1 plus the 5. It's a 6.
Okay.
So Gaius forgot he has eyes.
So, Gaius, you are just about able to identify that it's night and the horse smells funny. That's about it.
Wait, the horse smells funny?
Yeah, it smells like a horse.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it
Horses
doesn't smell like funny
weird.
for... Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Clarissa,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a function of Slayer reactions and senses, or just your Spidey sense ticking in the background for you, you don't spot anything intrinsically valuable. However, you do notice that those people who were sort of just about visible, or you at least had a sense of, in the stable yard in front of you, they seem to have gone, and it looks as if there's a little crack cut in the back wall in that scarp slope behind the back of the stable yard, which they may have gone through.
Interesting. Also, can I ask, did the Romans brand their horses? I believe they did used to brand their horses
generally.
with symbols, didn't they? Okay. And the horses in this stable, I mean, they're actually in a covered enclosure, so I'm assuming they're of some value.
Yes.
Okay. And are they shoed? Are they wearing iron shoes?
They appear to be, based on... I mean, you're still a fair distance away, but they appear to be wearing horseshoes. They've got Roman-style tack, at least the bare minimum attached to them.
Okay. Okay, so I turn around to Gaius and I say, I think I have a cunning plan, my lord. No, I don't say my lord, because I'm not Baldric. So I say, I think I've got a plan. Not sure what you think of it. But what if we get one of those horses that look like they're quite valuable, and we pull off a horseshoe and make it look like it's gone lame, and then you take the horse round and say, I think this is one of your horses, it's got your brand on it and it looks like it's thrown a shoe. Meanwhile, I go through the crack that all those other people have just gone through and I sneak along after them, and then you're distracting people at the front while I'm sneaking in the back.
Sure. I mean, I like the plan. It's good.
Okay.
It's got multiple layers. What do I do once I've finished distracting? Because
I don't know. I'll probably be jumping off something by that point. So
I'll wait.
Go,
I'll wait for the screams. Although I was thinking not yours, but either way, I'll wait for someone to scream.
Do I need to kick you in the face again? Do you need to remember like how good at kicking things I am?
Oh no. I'm thoroughly aware, which is why I thought it would be the other people that would be doing the scream.
Oh. Okay. I mean, you can just. I mean, you know how you are when you get really excited. Talk about something that nobody else finds interesting, like books or scrolls, like those little waxy things that you scratch your pictures onto. Like, talk about that for a while and distract them for a bit. Ask him how rich he is, or I don't know if he likes wine. Just keep him talking at the front door. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so can we do that then? Can we sneak up and you know, Gaius with his magical horsey ways can keep the horse happy while I tug an iron shoe off its back leg?
All right. So you're doing this to one of the horses you brought with you, or are you going into the stable to find one?
No,
in there?
one of their because I'm understanding that the crevice that the people vanished through is actually inside the stable.
It is.
It's
inside the stable yard. Yes.
Yeah, so we have to go through the stable anyway. So I'm like, on the way, let's pick the nicest looking horse.
All right.
What shall I do with this other horse?
Oh, just leave it there. I mean, can we make it look lame? Hit it. I don't know. I don't want to hit it. It's a nice horse.
Lick horse.
Lick horse. All these people that turned up to watch, and they're not going to understand why we're licking horses.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so.
Yeah.
All right, you creep together through into the stable yard.
Mm-hmm.
And inside, there are a handful of horses, maybe half a dozen or so. They have a sort of
You can
lean-to.
fit half a dozen horses in your hand.
They and I cradle the world on my shoulders. What can I tell you?
Oh, Atlas, it's so hard to be you.
Sorry, Ben. Do go on.
On each side, there are a couple of fairly well constructed but basic wooden lean-to covers for horses to take shelter in. In the middle, there is this crack in the wall, and inside, sort of far back in the distance, you can see a lamp burning on the wall to give it some light, but it's some way back. It's not intended to be ostentatiously lit, shall we say. If you're looking for the smartest looking horse, there's one on the left quite near the gate, which does look to be in very fine condition, certainly.
That one.
All right.
So I mean, like I go over, I smooth my hand over the horse, I try to keep it calm. I seem to remember in the last session, Clarissa was quite good at calming horses down. Or maybe that was just my inner monologue being, no, I'm going to be great at this. I'm going to assume she's pretty good at calming the horse down. And then when Gaius has positioned himself at the head, so he's holding the bridle and he's able to soothe the horse down his nose, that's when I sort of take the horse's hoof and I find some kind of tool and I pry the nails out of the shoe and,
All right.
and take the shoe off.
Can you start with a notice check for me, please?
Okay.
That will be a 4 plus 3 for you, so 7 plus 1d10, please.
Yeah. I have got 16 again.
16. Okay.
Nice.
You're in the process of sort of working out exactly how to do this as you wander around the horse and sort of thinking which foot do I go for, which is easiest, which is the one that's going to get me kicked less than Gaius, that kind of thing. And as you do so, you notice there is no identifying feature on this horse. There is no brand, there is no marking of any kind.
Huh. I'm like, whoa. Let's look at how many other horses. There's, like you said, there's like a
5
dozen
others.
or so. 5. Okay, so hang on. Let's just have a look at all the other horses. Grab a handful of hay or oats, or if they've got something in a feed bag there, let's just go around and I just need to look at all the horses because this one doesn't have a brand. And how weird is that? Let's just find one that's branded.
They have hay in a sort of hopper against the back wall under the lean-to, so it's not difficult to grab a handful of it. You take a look around. One second. Okay. As you take your time to investigate, no one seems to come out of the crack in the wall or anything like that. None of the horses seem to be branded or marked in any way. And the tacks, the bridles, nothing seems to have any identifying marks. It's all completely generic.
What about the horse we brought with us? Is that branded?
No.
Well, that's a rubbish thing then. Well, let's come with a... Hi, Luke. Ben's just scuppered me. Okay, so I look at Gaius and I look a bit deflated because I had this brilliant plan and now it's not going to work because he's not going to give a shit who these horses belong to. So I just sort of look at Gaius and I'm like, I don't know, what do you want to do? We could just both go through that hole, but I don't know what's at the other end of it yet.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it could be anything, but that's why I've got a Slayer with me.
Nice to be in your pocket like that.
Well, no, you know. For protection.
Hello, everybody.
Can't look after myself, clearly.
Hey, here are your shoes. Now fall over them. Okay, so let's go through the crevice. Let's do that.
All right. Okay. You start to head together. Are you going first, Clarissa?
Yeah, he's a worse. He's scared of the dark. He cries.
That was a leading question then.
It was a leading question.
If you'll excuse the pun.
Wait until you get to the double right-hand turn and it becomes circular reasoning. The crevice, as you start to enter it's clearly been prepared for people to move through with a bit of luggage on them quietly at night. It's been carved out wide enough to make it comfortable. The floor is pretty level, though a bit uneven in places, a bit broken here and there where someone got too enthusiastic with a pickaxe and cracked the stone and it's never been repaired properly.
So it's just stone, or are there flagstones, or it's wood, or has somebody actually bothered to make the floor, like cover it with something?
At the beginning, it is very rough hewn, and the floor has been definitely levelled and made even, but not sort of covered with anything. But it's a short time before you start to see change. It's not like a single moment that it changes. The first thing that changes is that the walls become much more even and they widen out a bit, and then they become properly braced with arches in the ceiling. It's brick lined in places, And then, shortly after that, there are indeed pretty basic tiles making up the floor. It's not decorative, you understand, but it's functional. And the passageway continues pretty much dead straight underneath the, I suppose you'd say, the rear portion of the house. For a
And there are
fair
no
old
cutscenes
distance.
where barrels or cupboards or any kind of storage, like things that are going to be carried, can be stored along the way. It's just flat walls the whole way down.
Yeah, it becomes increasingly an arched vaulted roof or ceiling with
Gosh.
straight side walls that, as you move down, become plastered for for comfort and making them look less rough and ready. And the floor becomes
That
eventually
is what
stone
getting
paved.
plastered does.
Yeah, that is in my experience the exact opposite of plastered. Yeah, plastered is what makes you definitely look rough and ready.
Okay.
How high is the how high up does it go, Ben?
It's pretty clearly not intended
Ish.
that you could lead a horse down here if that's not its purpose. At the absolute peak of the ceiling, at its highest point in the pitch, you're dealing with something like 9 to 10 feet,
Okay, cool.
just under 3 meters, that kind of height, and it's a good 2 meters wide. But if you tried to lead a horse down here, it would almost certainly panic and it would be a mess.
Okay, cool. Shall we
Yeah, let's keep
go on?
going.
All right.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, is there like a particular 90-degree turn?
Not that you've seen
is
yet.
obvious.
The lighting, because
So this is directly straight from
Directly
the
straight,
stable with
yeah.
no turns.
initially
Okay.
it was, I suppose you'd say, roughly straight, but after it becomes more tunnelled and civilized, it is literally straight.
Cool.
But you can only see a
Okay.
relatively short distance in front. The lamps that are down there marking it are sparsely placed. When you pass one and you look ahead for the next, you can see the glow of it and the sort of immediate area of the tunnel around it, but there are very dark sections that you walk through between them.
I know. Why don't we just pop back and get a couple of those saddles off those horses and leave them in one of the dark sections so that if we have to scarper later, we've got obstacles that the people who are chasing us might fall over as they chase us out. Guys looks really confused.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's nowhere to really hide, is there, if we come across anyone? Sure. Let's.
Okay, so
run
Clarissa
back and grab
runs
some
back.
stuff.
Yeah, we get some saddles, some bridles. We just make a big pile of crap in the middle of the floor. But in one of the darker sections, closer to just as it starts to get properly paved and plastered, that's the darkest section we can find near that.
Okay.
That's where we
Okay.
leave a pile of crap for somebody to fall over.
So, I mean, you could always, I suppose, use the change when it starts to go a bit more rough and unfinished as the guideline for you when you're running back, that the next dark bit is where the bit you've got to jump over is.
Yes.
Okay, so you'll leave it essentially just on the rougher side of the transition.
Not horses, John. I'm not Rudy. No, it's just the things that they're wearing. We're using their
Yeah,
saddles.
prop up a couple of saddles across the middle of the relatively narrow passageway.
I can imagine Rudy would be punching a horse in the face and being like 12 undefeated and leaving the corpse of the horse there. But no, we're not. We're not that burly, I'm afraid.
I can definitely see Rudy punching a horse. Yes, I can definitely see that. But yeah, okay. So you do that.
As we're putting it all back down, having carried it halfway down the crack corridor, Gareth will turn to Clarissa and say, I suppose the bad side of this is that if anyone follows us, they'll probably know something's up. I assume they don't just leave stuff lying around.
Yeah, but
But we're here now.
They're not for a while, are they?
No.
Well, it's in a dark spot. If they're looking, I mean, they're just going to fall over it, right? It's fine.
Yeah. I think it's a good plan.
Okay, thanks. I think you're a good plan. Let's just get to the house.
You're a good plan.
Gaius just assumes that her Latin is slightly off.
We've got to clunk something. Can I just pick up, like, I don't know, the reins of a bridle that we've just dropped on the floor and kind of spank Gaius with them before we start walking back to the house? Can I just, like, flick the reins at Gaius because there's a clunk?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Thanks. It's poor Gaius.
In fact, I think you should make an attack roll for this. And I know we're not going to be worrying about any damage or anything. You're not intending to hurt him.
Okay.
But I think an attack roll is the way to go.
Okay.
So...
no idea how to do this anymore.
Okay. So you have any number of potential things you can do here. But I think for you, for this one, we're going to go with Dex twice, please. So that's a plus 12 for you.
So it's 1d10 plus 12.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So sorry. Plus 12. 22.
A 22.
I got 22.
22.
Wow.
Yep. Okay. That's success level 6. Okay. It is exactly what you set out to do. It provides no harm, of course, but it just flicks.
Does it make that cool sound?
It makes no sound at all. You are, after all, sneaking around someone else's thing in the dead of night.
Yeah,
you deliberately intended it to not make any sound. But Gaius, you can indeed feel that you have been very slightly admonished.
Yes, and given the strength of a slang, you know that when you're when you want to scream out,
it's like being flipped with a tea towel.
When you want to swear, but it's in the inappropriate situation, you just scream, but in silence. He does that and rubs the spot.
Yeah, I know. He totally saved me, didn't he? And also, thank you, Sparrow, for the clonk. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sparrow.
Yep. Okay, so I place silently the bridle back down on the floor.
Okay.
And then I assume the super cool Slayer pose, and I carry on through the tunnel.
All right. Not very far beyond where you last turned back, you see the passageway begins to end in a chamber. The chamber is really very dark. It is hard from inside the passageway to see exactly how big it is, but you can tell that the walls widen dramatically and that there is another continuing passage the other side of it, and you can just about make out the first lamp in that passage. Can you roll notice checks for me, please?
Yeah.
So that's a plus 7 for Clarissa, plus 5, I think it is, for Gaius.
Sounds right.
16 again.
Okay.
Killing it tonight with these rolls. I rolled a 0, which is good because I believe that's a 10.
It is. Okay.
There was a moment of shock.
The chamber isn't silent. It's a very soft noise, but it sounds like somebody breathing heavily, or possibly even sobbing to themselves quietly.
Does it sound male or female?
With that roll, you would probably guess male.
Ooh.
Oh no, we've got that.
Old or young? Is it like...
Hard to tell.
Right. Or is it like...
Left or right
What
hand?
kind of hair do they have from their laugh then?
Which ear is it coming through? My Dolby surround sound. Okay. So there is a crying, possibly man. I'm like, there's somebody crying. It sounds like a bloke. I don't know. Hug him? What do you want?
This is pretty creepy. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I think I've been around a slayer long enough to experience at least one of those moments, where there's a sobbing or a heavy breathing or something in the pitch black that doesn't quite sit right and builds the tension. Should we see if we can get a look before we...
Yeah. Why don't we go into the chamber, you go around one wall and I'll go around the other, and then...
Let's see who bumps into something first.
You feel like, are you okay? And do that, the man thing. Whoa, dude, that stuff. And then I'll be like, ready to jump on him if he gets all mean. Let's do that.
That, are you okay sort of man stuff isn't perhaps my forte, but...
I think it might be time to learn and grow, Gaius.
Sure, I can do that.
I mean, I just want to look cool jumping out of the darkness with something pointy in my hand. I don't do that enough.
Well, true.
I don't train for hugs. That's what I'm saying.
I suppose that's accurate. Sure, let's do that. If they happen to be on the side that you're walking around, I won't jump out of anywhere. I'll assume that you can handle it.
Oh, I'll just do this, and then I make this like massive hand gesture and do some pointing. I'll make this sign if I see somebody on my side of the wall. There you go. That's what I'll do.
Okay. You going left or right, Clarissa?
Oh, my friend Doggo's here. Hello, Mike. I'm going to go left because I like going left.
You're going to go left.
Lick left.
Because Gaius is always right.
And Gaius is always right. Okay.
Wow. Clarissa's always left on her own.
So, you enter the really quite dark room. The lamps from that are sort of some way back in the passageways don't really cast much light into the room beyond just a thin, very pale sort of bit right down the middle of the room. So as you pick your way to each side, it really is dark. It's not pitch dark, but it's very dark. Gaius, you start to make your way around the right-hand side of the room. What you find as you go, probably you find it first with your shin, if you know what I mean, is there seem to be some wooden benches and tables up against that wall, and they loosely seem to run the length of that wall until you get to the far end and you can cut back towards the middle and the main passageway. Clarissa, on your side, as you cut through the left-hand side of the chamber, you realise that the wall isn't entirely a wall. Only part of it is. The first little bit is, and then it becomes a wall made of steel bars. A cage wall.
Okay, so is there some way that I can discern if there's any... Are they lit to any level? Are there doors that are somehow visible in some way? Is there I don't know, I don't...
It's really very dark. If you don't want to create light, and I can understand why you wouldn't, you'll probably have to feel your way along to see if you can identify how they're constructed.
Okay, can I really silently put my tongue out and then lick my way across the bars?
Yes, you can.
Can I notice with my tongue? Luke, stop leading me astray. Ben's going to tell me off.
You know what?
Please tell me off.
Yes, you actually can. The you get an immediate and very strong sense of metal, of course. But you've been around metal and other things a lot recently, and you can tell that you are very much licking dried blood off these bars.
That's going to stay with me for a little while.
Extra metallic.
Okay. So first of all, she curses Lucas Grossus, and then she sort of is the sobbing coming from anywhere near where these bars have been discovered?
It's not that distinct, but if you were guessing, you'd say it's close, possibly even the other side.
Shit. Okay, can I just kind of very quickly see if I can go silently but quite quickly around the room in the other direction to try and find Gaius? The whole time very silently wiping my tongue on my arm.
Okay, so do you want to complete the loop you're already on, or do you want to retrace your steps back around?
We retrace my steps and go backwards, back to the entrance, and then back round, following Gaius's footsteps. And hello, Monkey Tails. Hello.
Good evening, Monkey Tails. Thank you for joining us. Yes, you can. Under the circumstances, because you're trying to hurry, I'm going to ask that you make a quick check, I think. So, can you roll for me a dex check, please? That's a plus 12.
So 1d10 plus 12. 16. I'm really good with these 16s tonight.
It's good. Okay. You catch up with Gaius sort of at the far right corner of the room, if you know what I mean. And you can sense him before he senses you. You have slightly sharper senses than him. You are, after all, the Slayer. But when he feels your sort of hand on his shoulder, he doesn't jump too much.
Okay. Gaius.
Yes.
There's like some cells or something. It's like metal bars and they're covered in blood. And I'm not going to tell you how I know that, and don't you ever ask me. But I think the crying sound is coming from there. Come and see. I mean, come and not see. But just come with me. I'll show you.
Ben, as she says, come and see. Can I attempt to cast a spell?
You can. What kind of spell would you like to cast?
I would like to give us both night vision. Not make light, but make us be able to see more detail in the darkness.
Oh, I like that. That's clever. Yes, let's try and do a night vision spell. All right.
Yes.
I think that's a brilliant idea. I think that's very good thinking. Okay.
And now Clarissa looks slightly confused.
All right. The power rating for this is going to be what's that? 3. How long do you need it to last for?
I guess at this point we're talking probably minutes. Just enough for us to gauge the room and.
Okay.
5 minutes. So
all right.
That sort of time.
So something under an hour, basically, we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in essence, that's plus 4. I'm going to say this is power level 5 in total. So with power level 5, I need you to roll, first of all, a spellcasting check, which is your willpower, plus, which is 6 for you, plus your occultism, which is 7. So you have plus 13.
Yeah. Plus a D10.
Yep.
Oh, which is 10.
A 10. Okay. A total of 23, I make that.
Holy crap.
Which is going to probably be quite helpful, I would think. Let's find out how helpful. 7. Okay, well, the good news is, first of all, it exceeds the power level, which means you cast it flawlessly. It works wonderfully. There are no side effects. Everything happens brilliantly. It's a good job you went over 17, frankly, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, I was a little bit worried about what the side effects of that one could be.
So,
Here we
yes. Yes, you mutter your spell away, and indeed, you get a sudden sense, both of you, that the room is getting lighter. It's not like daylight. You can still tell you're in the dark, but it's almost as if you've got the night vision of at least a cat. Probably much better than that, actually. You can see really, really well, despite incredibly low light levels in this room. So I'm going to need both of you to roll a notice check. That's a +5 for you, I think, Gaius, and a +7 for Clarissa.
Yeah.
I got an 8 +5.
Okay.
I got 10.
All right. The benches that you bumped into, Gaius, on the way round the room are pretty basic, barrack style or dining hall style benches. There's nothing unusual about them. And though there are some items on the table, they look very basic. A jug, a bowl. It's nothing remotely interesting and very ordinary stuff. The room is, now that you can see it more clearly, vaulted in 3 barrel vaults across the middle. And though you've both been picking your way round it, it's also got 4 columns in the middle, which you didn't encounter because you went round the edges. The wall on the far side is indeed mostly made up of floor-to-ceiling iron bars. They are pretty well constructed. You can see even from here that they are pretty sturdy and solid, cross-braced at various levels. The middle of them contains a gate with a lock on it, and behind there are 3 human figures, seemingly.
In a single cell or in separate cells?
In a single space. They're sitting against the sort of back wall of it, more or less in a row, and the one on the left to you is quietly sobbing. You can now tell that when his shoulders move, those coincide with the sounds that you're hearing. The other 2 seem to be completely silent.
Cool.
Are they silent and moving and conscious, or are they silent and lying down and otherwise just
They're
not
all
really
sitting.
there? Okay, so they're all awake.
Quick question before we go much further, because it did pop up in chat and I suddenly couldn't remember. Does our Slayer have appropriate Slayer equipment with him?
The basics, yes.
Cool. Wonderful.
Stabby, thumpy, punchy is how I'm assuming I pack for
Some
hunting.
form of Mr. Pointy, yes.
Nice.
My name is Kendra. Come on, that was pretty good.
It was
that was
pretty
all
good.
right. Thank you very much. I'll take your applause. Okay, so first of all, Clarissa's like, holy shit, when you do your magic, it really, you're getting really good at this. And then she sort of looks a bit shocked that she said something nice. I was like, don't get too cocky though. And then instantly back to work, looking across the room at the guys in the cage. Is there anything identifiable? Are they wearing the clothes of slaves or some kind of prisoner outfit, or I don't know, what do their clothes look like?
It's because of the way they're sitting sort of hunched over, it's not that easy to identify much in the way of detail. They
Okay.
all seem to be wearing basic Roman working sort of tunics.
Okay. Guys, do you think we should maybe go and talk to them? Do you think we should free them? I kind of want to free them.
I think we need to be careful, but certainly if there's great evil here, we should let them through.
We could talk to the guy who's crying and find out, that's
Why he is so sad, and Gaius gestures at the bars.
yeah, whatever. That sure. And she doesn't even wait for Gaius to answer. Like, she's asked him, what should we do? And then she's
Got away.
instantly just off doing it. Yeah.
Okay.
So she's quietly crossing the room. And she goes up to the bars. And she kneels down by as close to the guy who's crying as she can.
Okay.
And she taps really quietly on the bars. And it's like, hi, quietly, shh. Can you talk? Hello.
All right. Okay. All three of the people immediately lift their heads, sort of almost snapping to attention the moment they hear anything. They're staring sort of wildly around into the darkness. They can't make out anything in front of them, really. But they can hear a voice, and they heard the bars get hit. The one on the far right seems to begin to let out a low moan as if he's panicked. But the one closest to you, the one who was sobbing, looks up and says, "Who are you?"
I'm not one of your captors. I'm here for another reason, but I'm not here to hurt you or your. Are they your friends? The other people here with you? What's happening? Why are you so upset? Why are you all here?
We don't know much, but they've been bragging that we're going to be, well, killed. They seem very excited about that.
Did they mention a name?
No.
Has it always been the three of you? Were there others? Were there more?
I think there are supposed to be more coming, from what they said, but so far we're all there are.
Okay. We're gonna go through the tunnel, and try and find somebody who might have the keys. I think you're probably safest here for now, but if you can tell the other two to just hold it together, and when you next hear my voice, it'll be because you can be freed. Okay? Can you wait for that? Can you wait?
We can't really do anything else.
Ah, that's true. I mean, can you wait, like, without crying anymore?
Do our best.
You can cry. That's totally okay. So she's wading into territory that she finds really uncomfortable now. She's like, if you need to let it out, I guess that's up to you. But we're gonna go do this thing, and then we'll come back and we'll let you out. It's super dark, and I don't know how to unlock the. I don't know. We'll free you if we can, when we can. Okay, just don't panic. Will you not panic? Gaius, say something nice. Just say something.
Before we go off, who's they?
Oh, that's a good question.
They say you're to be killed.
There are these people, they all wear the same cloak, and they are completely silent. You can't hear them coming, and you can't scream or call for help.
How many? How many of them are there?
I don't know. A few. A lot.
Was one of them carrying like this massive plate with like all kinds of things that you can eat normally in the morning, laden upon it? Singing sometimes.
Not that I saw.
Okay.
But it's
I
very
have to
dark.
stop doing everything that people tell me to do.
And at this point, I guess he'll whisper to Clarissa and sort of just tap on the shoulder and say, "Can you not just, rip the door off the hinges? You're pretty strong."
I mean, that would make loads of noise, right? Can you not just magically lock it? Like, do that magic-y, I don't know, talk to it. What do you do? The thing. Or maybe there are some pointy things that I mean, I'm assuming Roman locks aren't that complicated and fairly easy to jimmy if you've got like a pointy thing to shove in the hole.
They're mostly ward locks. You need an angled tool of some kind to a bit of practice, a bit of skill, but it's usually practicable.
Is that the kind of skill that we would have been trained in?
You'd certainly have been shown what to do. I don't know how much practice you'd have had. Not that much, I would think.
I pointed, guys. Go on, open that.
Sure, let's do. Garrus will click his fingers and attempt to open the lock.
All right. That will be. Oh yeah, pretty straightforward actually for you, I think. We'll call that a +2 total, so a power level 2.
Cool. Was it 13?
Yeah, it'll be plus your 13, so 15 total.
So it's a 5 on the dice.
Okay, 5 plus 13 is 18. Okay, and 18 is just fine. It takes you a few moments, but you do, after a few seconds, hear that comforting click as the lock opens. And a second or two later, you hear a couple of voices from the passageway that you haven't been down yet, and they're chatting to each other, quite relaxed.
Shit. Well, Clarissa says to Gaius, you get these out safely, and then she takes up position to one side of the passageway as it enters, like as it exits into the chamber, and she just waits. She's like in her super punchy pose, and she's just waiting for them to come through.
Okay. All right. You're going to wait there. You step very quickly across the corner. You can see exactly where you're going. There's no difficulty whatsoever,
Yep.
and you hide on the near side of that doorway or entranceway. No actual door, you understand. Gaius, what are you doing? Are you pulling the door open?
Yeah, Garrus will slowly open the door as quietly as he can, just in case. It hasn't been well oiled or anything.
Yeah, it's. Make a dex check for me, please. That's double your dex. So your dex is 4, so it's +8 to whatever you roll.
Cool. That's a 9.
9 plus 8 is 17. Okay. By being a little bit cautious and careful, you can hear a bit of noise from the gate as it pulls open. A few little flakes of rust and dried blood fall off the hinges and drop to the floor because they're disturbed by the movement. But it is pretty quiet, undeniably pretty quiet. You'd have to be listening quite closely to hear it.
Cool.
I'm
And
sorry.
he'll.
I don't know if you can hear the cat. He's being very noisy.
No, he's being very quiet. It's a stealthy mission.
A stealth mission.
Yeah. He'll attempt to grab, not grab, but round the people up and keep them quiet and stay with them until they get to the exit that we entered in.
All right. They're a little bit confused. They really can't see very much, but they are kind of heading towards one of the faintly glowing passageway ones and the one towards the exit. So they're definitely going to be enthusiastic about this the turn that the evening has taken. So you do manage to get them going. They are not, however, particularly stealthy in their motions. They are. One of them sort of bumps into the column across that corner of the room. Another stumbles as he trips a little bit on the sort of edge of the cage door. There is a little bit of noise happening as they move. They are desperate to move, and they're moving perhaps too quickly for complete stealth. But you do manage to get them into the entrance of that passageway, and then they set off at speed as soon as they've got that line of lamps to aim for.
Before they go,
they disappear into the passageway.
Well, before they go off, could he just warn them about the stuff in the corridor?
Thank goodness you remembered.
Please. On the way over, could he just say, "Watch out for them," just as it starts to get rough?
You spoil all my fun, Ewan.
Sorry, Ben.
Yes, you can, but you're going to have to raise your voice to do it because they're heading down the passageway now. If you want to call out to them, do so, but it will be a bit noisy.
Yeah, I think at this point he'll do that. They're on their way to the exit, and it feels like they would be equally as noisy if they clattered into all the stuff halfway down the corridor.
Fair enough.
However long it may be.
Yeah. Okay, so you call out to them and give them that instruction. As soon as you hear Gaius make that noise, the voices coming down the corridor stop immediately, and then you can hear footsteps running. Not flat out, but certainly jogging towards the room. Clarissa, you would guess there are probably two of them, based on how many...
Do I hear the sound of weapons being drawn? That shing, the rasp of metal against leather?
No, you don't.
Okay. Well, I get something hitty that's not my hand, so maybe like, I don't know, a stick of some description, and then I get my hand, and I'm just ready to,
Okay.
do some damage.
You can both see pretty clearly. Gaius, you can actually see them slightly before Clarissa does, because you're at the opposite passageway. You've got a slightly more straight down the passageway look. When you turn around, you can see them in that corridor, and as they come, they're two fairly substantial looking guys dressed in these dark robes that you've seen before, and they are jogging fairly briskly towards the passageway, and then at a certain point one of them sees perhaps a shadow cut across in front of one of the lamps in the distant passageway, and they both start to yell out. Basically they're yelling, "Stop!"
Oh, so they're fixated on what's happening in the opposite passage.
They are, and
so
they come
they're
thundering out past Clarissa into the room without even a second thought.
Well, before when they accelerate and they're shouting, "Stop, stop," can I just stick my foot out, like across just hoping to trip them up?
You absolutely can. When in doubt, if you don't have a saddle to hand, use a foot.
Use a foot, yeah. So I can stick my leg out.
Absolutely. Can you do a double dex check for me, please?
Okay, what would that be? What? 1d10 plus.
Plus, in your case, 12.
Excuse my cat. I don't know what we're getting to tonight. I'm so sorry.
All right.
Oh my god, it's a 1. But 13. But
13
it's still a
total.
1. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I blame the cat.
All right. So under 13. All right. That's okay. One of them goes absolutely flying face first over your leg, and literally slides for several feet through the middle of the room, looking completely, down and completely off balance. Just falls flat on his face.
Yeah.
The other one trips, stumbles, and falls, but sort of catches himself against the column nearest, just the one to the sort of near left as he came out of the passageway, and kind of begins to right himself, but he's hugely off balance.
Can I take a second action? Can I attack him?
You can. Which one are you going after?
Okay, so the one who's sliding face first, I mean, that's going to take a moment to recover from. I'm not worried about that guy right now. The one who is already recovering back to his feet, I want to rise, and in that momentum of rising, I want to throw myself towards him and hopefully throw a nice sound punch. I'm suddenly thinking of some guy in a street looking at a woman with a cat in her arms, and I want to catch him on the jaw as hard as I can.
Okay, yes, you want to do that. All right.
Yes,
so
please.
Points for the homage.
you get bonus points for homage. Yes.
Thank you.
Even more for pastiche.
Oh, I'm a big fan of pastiche.
Me
I
too.
like a good pasty.
Yeah. Yes, Cornish pastiche is a particular favourite. But okay, can you roll? In this case, it's going to be a strength hit you're going for.
I would argue as well some acrobatics, because I've got to do that motion smoothly from getting down in a crouch up and then crossing the distance, and I think that must be a fairly acrobatic thing to have to do. It's almost like a tumble, but without going over in a circle.
You know what? I mean, I can probably give you that. Melee 7, acrobatics 6. Why not? Let's go for plus 13.
20.
20. 20 is not bad. 20 is all right. It's success level 6. Okay, 6 plus total of 12, 14. Okay, so you land exactly the punch you were hoping for. It doesn't quite do exactly what you were intending, because before you can get sort of all the way through his jaw, the side of his head collides with the column.
Oh, Christ. Oh, no.
And the other side of his head collides with the column. And there is a sort of really uncomfortable sounding crunch. And his knees buckle and he sort of drops and is slumped lying against the foot of the column. He is pretty much out.
I turn immediately to the other guy and see what's happening with him.
He's sort of like doing a very slow motion push-up, trying to pick himself up off the floor.
I got to jump on his back. I've got to. In fact, I can't just jump on his back. I've got to like arc through the air and turn a somersault and then have almost like a Xena moment. Wrong franchise, I know, but like a and then I land and I say something cool and cutting like, you haven't eaten enough dust yet, have you? Or something equally lame. Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay. All right. We're going to go for dexterity and acrobatics for that move.
Yep.
And then you can do a hit when you get there if you want. So that's a total of plus 12, please.
Sorry. I know, they're not deliberately being mean, but I feel like I busted out the cool move there, and I don't feel the appreciation that I think it should deserve. Anyway, it's a 1d10 plus what? Sorry.
Plus 12.
Plus 12. Okay. 13.
Total of 13. Okay.
Yes.
It's not quite as elegant as you were hoping for. Perhaps the night vision has robbed you of some of your normal sharpness. But you land next to him with a knee planted firmly on his back, and lean down and deliver your cutting remark.
Can I style it out at least?
Yeah, why not?
Cool. Yeah. An extreme close up of my, what was it she said? My stylish yet affordable shoes.
Yes.
Which are, of course, sandals in this case.
Sandals, yes.
Oh, I mean, and then you said I can attack afterwards.
Yes, if you'd like to.
Okay, so I lean down, I deliver my extraordinarily well-crafted one-liner. Thank you, Luke. And then I just elbow him in the back of the head to try and knock him out.
Okay, that'll be a total of plus 13, please, for the attack.
14. What is with these rolls now? Oh my goodness, it's a 14.
All right, so that's 3. All right, you land a hit on him. It does seem to land pretty firmly, but he immediately it's not immediately rendering him unconscious, and he lets out a bit of a yell, and
Shit.
He's in pain, and he's howling about it.
Okay, I sort of feel like guys should have a go now.
Guys?
Or I'm just going to keep beating them up. Yeah, what you up to, guys?
I like to think that Gaius has seen them off down the exit, turns around, sees Clarissa totally destroy the first one, and then sort of shrugs, thinks she's got this, and then walks a wide arc around the second guy on the floor, towards the first guy to start dragging him into the jail cell.
Okay.
Do you remember the old Hamlet adverts? You know, when all chaos is breaking loose, and then whoever was in the advert would just sit down and light up a Hamlet cigar, and that lovely music would play. I feel like that's Gaius' mood right now.
She's clearly got this.
Clearly got it. Yes. Okay. All right. Yes, it's actually not that difficult. I mean, you're not an enormously strong person, but dragging a guy along a pretty smooth paved floor isn't all that difficult, and it doesn't take you all that long to drag him into the cage. You do notice that as you're doing that, the other guy catches a glimpse of a body being sort of pulled inches in front of his face, and does let out a bit more of a howl. And Clarissa.
Yeah. He's making far too much noise, and he needs to stop making noise very, very quickly. So I'm going to climb to my feet. I'm going to grab the scruff of his neck or the scruff of his clothes, just ball up a bunch of clothes and use that to heft him up to his feet with one hand. And then I'm just going to try and punch him with the other hand, literally hold him in front of one hand and just lump him. He just needs to shut up.
All right. Okay, we'll go for melee plus strength, please. That's a total of plus
Okay.
13.
Come on, no ones.
23.
23.
1 or 10.
23. Okay. All
I
right.
feel like I should say sorry. Sorry, I'm really
Yeah.
sorry about this.
Sorry.
It's like this classic fight between Michael Bisping and Anderson, and he kissed his fist, or Hendo, and Hendo, like, okay, so this is a little bit of an aside, but these two stupidly epic UFC fighters, and in this one classic MMA fight, Hendo kissed his fist, leapt up in the air, and then just came down and knocked this guy just out absolutely cold. And that's kind of like Clarissa's moment. She's like kissing her fist and like, it's coming. And then that's how she delivers it.
You pull the guy up. He's looking a little bit dazed and disoriented. He can obviously feel what's going on, but he's still not seeing all that much. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, he takes a hit right into his head from Clarissa's fist. You punch him right out of your hand, and he proceeds to slide along the floor a considerable distance and into the cage. The door's still open.
And stay down. That's what I say.
Guys looks back and just says, "Hey, it's my job."
Oh.
As he shuts the door behind him.
I offer Gaius a fist bump, not really understanding the reference that's not going to become relevant for another 1900 years.
Sure. Yeah. Well, maybe you guys invented it.
Maybe we did. Yeah.
Okay. As far as you can tell, there's now no significant sound. A bit of ragged breathing from a couple of quite badly hurt people.
I mean, they trained for this. They're fine. I said to guys, so the slaves, I'm assuming they were slaves, the prisoners, they got off all right. You told them about the stuff in the way.
Yeah. Did you not hear?
Well, I think no. Funny.
I was pretty loud.
Like she. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go see what these two were up to, shall we? Do you wanna?
Yeah. As we go to walk away, can I cast some more magic to try and relock the cage door behind us?
Yeah, certainly. That's power level 2, I think we agree.
Yes.
So yes, please roll your. It's your occult plus your willpower, isn't it? So that's 6 plus 7 is 13 plus whatever you rolled.
Cool. So 7 on the dice.
A total of 20. Okay. Yes. You once again, after a few seconds, hear the satisfying as the lock closes.
And we make our way into the next room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question mark, Clarissa?
She's just nodding at Gaius, really nailing his magic tonight. She's not even worried about trying not to look impressed. It's just happening.
Nothing's gone wrong for him yet. That's good.
Yet.
So
yeah, she's just nodding, really pleased, and just doesn't even say anything. Just starts walking really confidently into the tunnel the two idiots have just come out of.
You start to make your way down the passageway. It looks very similar to the one you entered the chamber with. Similar size, similar design, and it continues to look that way until you get to the next chamber of it. It's just a single track through again. Because you've got your night vision magic powers going, it has it reveals most of its secrets to you pretty much immediately. It is considerably larger than the chamber you just left, mostly in its length, roughly similar in width. Again, it's triple vaulted with columns in 2 rows. The sides of it here are plastered, and they have painted murals on them. The floor is paved again, this time a bit more finely. And here the vaultings have been plastered as well and are painted with murals too. The murals are almost exclusively scenes of violence. They are war, paintings of warfare, of battles, of people being stabbed and hit with spears and mutilated and dismembered. It is a very violent theme to this space. Towards the far end, you can see that there are 2 vaulted exits in the far wall. One in the middle of each of the outer barrel vaulted sections, and between them, almost against the far wall, is a fairly substantial plinth. Now, behind this plinth, on that far wall between the 2 doors, between the 2 arches, there is a mosaic. And this mosaic
Attention, Ben.
is it shows a person sitting on a sort of grassy bank, and clearly very ill, dying. Not obvious what he's dying of, but he's clearly dying. And he is dying surrounded by a sort of semicircle of wolves sitting at his feet.
How is he dressed?
Very traditionally Roman, a white, short, military-style toga.
But no armour or weapons, just the toga.
Roll a notice check for me.
Okay. Right.
So this will be +7 for you.
10. 16 again. I'm really nailing these 16.
Okay. There is. It's not that obvious because he's almost sitting on it in the mosaic. But yes, there is the hilt of a gladius underneath his sort of back, close to his right hand. And the other thing you notice with that notice check is that what first appeared to just be some almost patination on the tiles actually reveals a name at the top of the mosaic.
Okay.
And the name is Romulus Quirinus Mars.
There's Quirinus Mars.
Romulus Quirinus Mars.
I mean, Clarissa knows that Romulus and Remus founded Rome. Everybody knows that.
Does this scene or the name ring any bells, either, I guess, historically or occultally?
Well, you will know the name of Romulus. He's one of the legendary brothers who founded the city of Rome. You will know
Was
the
he
name.
then elevated to godhood?
You will know the name Mars because that's the Roman god of war.
Yeah.
Quirinus, as far as you know, is a a temple and a god, but can you roll for me an occultism check with intelligence, please? So that's a total of plus 12.
That's a 2. So 14 total.
Okay, total of 14. You can remember, not details, but you know there is some connection between Romulus and Mars as individuals. You can't remember the details. And something at the back of your mind is saying, Quirinus, it does ring a bell. It makes sense in that context, but you've never seen Romulus, Quirinus, Mars written out like that.
Okay. And we're not. No, we're
Can
not.
Clarissa have a go? Just because as her player, I think I might know a thing, but I'm probably wrong.
It's worth a shot. You have occultism 0, but your intelligence
None.
is a 2.
Yeah.
So have a go. It's plus 2 for you.
1d10 plus 10.
Okay. You probably are at least as familiar with Mars. It is, after all, a fake temple to Mars that exists in the side of your ludus, where you actually do your planning meetings. But in order to be a fake temple to Mars, it does have all the trappings of it in case someone sees it, you understand. Once again, the reference to Romulus doesn't... You can't personally connect it to Mars. You don't understand what the relevance would be. But you do know of Romulus. I mean, he's well known.
Well, it's the founder of Rome and the god of war and a corpse that's linking the pair of them. I look at Glass and I'm like, this. I think something weird's happening here.
Yeah, the name and the I mean the war is obvious, but the death, the sickness, the wolves.
Ooh.
There's something I just can't quite place it.
I don't know. I'm from like Europe. Where am I from? Where's Clarissa from?
From Bristol.
Oh, of course she is. Yes, thank you very much. So she's like, "Oh, my barber. I do know what this is."
She's Brythonic.
She's like, "Where's he to? Where's he from? What's he going on with them dogs for? Eh? What's that about?"
Good puppies.
Figure it out, barber. Figure it out. Yeah. Sorry, I also at that exact moment decided I needed to eat some chocolate. Apologies.
That's all right. Is there anything else you want to do here?
Nope. Clarissa, not understanding what it's about, has instantly dismissed it from her mind.
Fair enough. Guys?
No, no, I don't think so. He'll linger for a little bit and, probably be quite frustrated that he can't quite place the link. But he'll turn to Clarissa and say, "So, is it a left and a right? The two?"
Yeah, essentially you've got this fairly substantial plinth, which is right next to you now because you're quite close to the mosaic. That's the plinth is in the middle of the room just before the mosaic. There's space between them for a person to stand, but it's there or thereabouts. The plinth is probably the best part of a foot tall as a base, and on top of it there's a fairly substantial sort of open dish. Then each side of the mosaic on the back wall, there's a passageway each side heading on into onward into the structure.
Go on then, Ben. As you described it Sorry, go on.
Yeah,
After
no,
you,
go on.
Clarissa. No.
I'm thinking what you're thinking, and you do it. Go on, you go. You do it.
As you described it in such detail, Gaius will hold up a finger and walk over to the plinth and have a look in the dish.
Okay. Can you roll a notice check
Lick
for me?
dish.
That's +5.
But no, we're not. Not both of us are licking dried, horrific blood tonight. Slayer. That's a 2 + 5 is a 7.
Okay. You don't notice anything particularly special about it, but then you don't know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, sure. There's no looks or texts or anything carved into the curve that I can see.
You know what? I'm going to ask you to make a strength check. Can you do a double strength for me, please? Because you actually did that. Let's have a strength check.
Oh, hi, Gamer Sledge, and thank you. Yes, to Clarissa.
So that's for you +4, please.
Wonderful. That's an 8 + 4 is a 12.
Okay. It wasn't what you were hoping to learn. You were hoping perhaps to learn something about the dish, but you didn't. However, as you did, you noticed that the plinth sort of moved slightly under your touch.
He'll call Clarissa over.
Oh, she's already there. This
If
is
she's
like pushing stuff.
He'll
She likes
turn
pushing
around
things.
to where he last noticed her and look to call her over and then look over the other
And
shoulder.
she's already literally face to face. Hey, let's do this.
And gestures towards the plinth. Did you see that?
Yeah, already on it. Like,
Totally,
can
yeah.
I do a strength check?
To do what?
Push it.
You want to give it a push?
Push it real good.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was for Luke. You're welcome.
Gently.
Oh, okay.
Yes. By all means, do a strength. I think that's +12 for you.
Roll 1d10, Ben's favourite dice, +12.
+12.
20.
20. Okay. There's a bit of resistance to it, but this is obviously moved often. The plinth with its dish on top slides backwards, essentially marginally further away from the mosaic, if you understand, and reveals on the floor underneath it some writing, which you can both now see quite clearly from where you are because you were up close to the mosaic. It's even the right way up for you. It's written in a sort of semicircle around this side of the plinth on the ground and was covered by the plinth being where it was. And the writing seems to contain a prayer or a chant, something which is said ritually. And what it says is, in this place, and in the Lupercal, and in the Tugurium, and in the Quirinus, in your name, Romulus, Quirinus, Mars.
Is there evidence of blood or sacrifice or, bowls, or is it particularly and unusually clean or well crafted? Is it, any of the things that mark it out as having been really attentively made and then really mindfully cared for?
The actual, the inscription?
No,
or the plinth, the bowl, the whole thing?
The whole thing.
All right. I'm going to suggest
Yeah.
that you first of all make a knowledge check with intellect, with intelligence. So that's +3, please.
Okay.
As this gets typed into Discord, Ben, could you just read out the text for me one more time, please?
Yes, of course.
Thanks.
It goes, in this place, and in the Lupercal, and in the Tugurium, and in the Quirinus. In your name, Romulus Quirinus Mars.
Thanks.
I'm quite sure my spelling of those things are way off.
Yeah.
I think there's only one typo in that whole thing.
Excellent. And is that the word "this" at the start?
Sorry, there are 2 typos in the whole thing.
I'll take it. That's fine. I got 9 for my roll. You see, my logic is I'm going to argue this a little bit because she's a slayer, so she's got an instinct for when nasty shit is happening. And I'm guessing, she would have been trained to recognise some kind of sacrificial altar or, some place that's recognised as a ritual, like a
Do you
ritual
want me to
significance.
forbid you from licking the bowl? Is that what this is building up to?
Oh, I mean, it's...
That's the stern Ben that you were talking about.
That is the stern Ben that really has a... Yes. It's just whether or not she would have an instinct about whether or not this is one of those places that she's been trained to keep an eye out for.
It is definitely a ritual space. It is definitely well kept and well cared for. There is, you're not exactly carrying around a chemistry set, but you can probably guess that the slight discoloration and slightly murky, streaky texture in the bowl is not because they used it as a punch bowl or for fruit.
Are there channels going from the bowl to other places that would carry blood,
Careful
like in,
examination of it reveals that there are not. It's just a
no,
wide
just a
open
bowl.
flat dish. If there is
Okay.
blood put in it, then it presumably has to be removed by some other means. But it could, of course, be for organs or something else. That would also leave blood, clearly.
Okay, she spends some time just examining everything in really close detail and just mutters everything that she discovers back to Gaius.
Okay. So, whatever you've learnt, we will find out what you do next after we take a short break. Thank you, everyone, for being with us so far. We'll take a little comfort break and be back shortly.
Break time, yeah.
Nobody
Cool.
do any rituals while we're gone. Certainly don't.
Well,
read out
except Sparrow.
that have
I
been-
depend upon Sparrow's rituals. That's how I stay awake these days. So Sparrow, please keep doing them.
Yes, if you can, please stick
And
around.
John.
There is more after the break. We'll be offline for about whatever it is, 5 or 6 minutes, something like that,
Yeah.
and we will return with more Clarissa the Vampire Slayer.
Yes. And her trusty sidekick, Gaius.
And her trusty sidekick, guys.
So far,
And we're back. Thank you once again for joining us. We left off with our heroes in a sort of sacrificial chamber or a ceremonial chamber of some kind, deep underneath the Palatine Hill in Rome in 71 BCE. And what are we going to do next?
Is that the same place we pick up then? Is it the same year?
Exactly the same year.
Quick
Yeah.
check. An in-character.
Seconds later.
Really?
Well, you never know.
I have ridden I think 2 sleighs, it's fair to say. Hello, Cold Frog, by the way. Hello.
Evening, Cold Frog. Thank you for joining us.
You missed my epic punch. Bam!
It was a very
And
good
my
punch.
cutting rejoinder. My sassy remark. Anyway, right, so we've noticed that there's a nasty thing that things have happened in, and there are 2 things either side, 2 corridors, I guess. Is that like a sitting area where people would otherwise sit and watch whatever's happening up on this plinth?
No, there doesn't appear to be. Just a space, absolutely, where people could stand, but nothing with seating.
Okay. Oh, well, Clarissa's already bored. She's like, I want to go down this side. I'm going that way.
Which
And
way?
are you picking left or right?
Left. Hi, Ghost. It is.
Yes, I don't know if you can see this. I'll try and pop it in there. It is this. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer role-playing game.
But in Rome. We're in Rome.
Oh,
Yes,
in ancient
yes.
Rome.
I've set this one in ancient Rome during Spartacus's rebellion.
So the reception on our cell phones is terrible.
Yeah.
I will follow.
And Deliveroo doesn't exist yet either. It's very disappointing for food service.
It is, but they do have lark's tongues. Otters' noses.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? Honestly, Bucky, just stop it. Okay. Okay, so she's running down the corridor. Well, she's not running. She's just sort of slayering. She's just doing the cool, strutty, purposeful.
All right.
You know, the walk that they do in a montage when they're going from one place to another place and nothing interesting happens, but nothing interesting happens purposefully. She's doing that walk.
Okay. Essentially, you make your way down this passage. It is much shorter than the previous ones you've gone down, and lets out almost immediately into another room with the triple barrel vaulting. And the other passageway seems to connect up parallel to it. So there are literally just 2 routes through from the one room to the next.
So it's like an antechamber.
Yeah, that's certainly one way to look at it. A place where someone who was going to be using the ceremonial space could prepare and then perhaps form a procession or something that went in through one door and out the other. That kind of thing, yes, certainly possible. This space is, comparatively speaking, very plain. Just white plaster, plain flooring, and its only notable feature that you can easily see is a very impressive looking staircase that leads up and away from you through a sort of hole in the ceiling.
Anything else we could see? Is there another set of like bars, metal bars with crying men in them?
Nothing like that, no.
Okay. Wardrobes, clothes, uniforms, weapons, racks.
No, just the staircase up. And it's the impressive thing about this staircase more than anything else seems to be its height. It looks like it goes up several stories in a single throw.
I could throw higher. I mean, yeah. I look at Clarissa and I'm like, exactly. Let's just, I don't know, go up. 2 on
Guys
2?
will just he'll say to Clarissa, "Do you think the other one? Do you think right goes down?"
No, look, they both go back. Look, if you walk down that way, and then it's like a circle. They go around the same way. So, sorry, but my understanding is there's the in and the out, and then there's the staircase, and that's all we've got in terms of...
You've just got, yeah, effectively, if you come in through one of the passages, the other one is to the side of you. They both lead
Yeah.
straight back to the ceremonial chamber. And in
Right,
front
yeah.
of you is this staircase.
Well then,
I mean, okay, what you could do... She points to the way that they've just come, and she's like, walk through that and just follow the left wall.
no.
You get.
I trust you. I just get spun around sometimes. My sense of direction isn't great.
No, that's fine.
But I do know which way is up. And he gestures.
Do you, though?
Case.
Okay. Clarissa's like, fine, let's just go do it. And she just starts walking as quietly as she can. She starts walking up the staircase. But she's
Okay.
got, I don't know, something punchy. Did knuckle dusters exist or something on her hand to make punching
Kestis
easier?
did. Essentially
Okay,
a
I'll
sort
have
of
some of that.
leather glove with metal spikes on the knuckles.
Oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I'll have one of those, please. She's wearing that. Also, that'd be quite quiet, and she can punch screaming people in the throat really effectively with that. So that's what she's...
Yeah, it's a pretty
She's doing.
gruesome weapon, but it's appropriate for a slayer.
Cool. So she's going up the stairs.
Okay. You can move up pretty quietly. You're both stealthy and extremely fit, after all. So you make your way up, and the top of the stairs eventually arrive at a trapdoor, essentially. Can you roll a notice check for me, please? That's +7 for you.
Just that. Yeah. 1d10. 10. Didn't get my 16 this time, just a 10.
All right. The trapdoor doesn't appear to have any kind of lock or mechanism securing it. It looks quite well used. But one thing you can definitely hear is one hell of a lot of people. There are dozens of people moving around immediately above your head.
There's lots of people up there. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I sort of think the bursting suddenly up through the trapdoor and going and then hitting as many people as I can is really going to take the element of surprise into our favour.
Well, I think it's a great idea, as long as you're sure that it's dozens of people and not dozens of vampires, because that's a different story entirely.
Did you bring a pointy stick?
You got a spare?
Fine.
Thanks.
I do in fact have a spare, because this is not the first time Guys has forgotten his pointy stick.
True.
Okay. I tell you what though, I'll burst through. If you stay here, then if any try to come down, that you can just get them one at a time as they approach you, and then I'll be fine up there. I'll be all right.
Yeah. That sounds like a great plan. I'll protect this area and all of those other areas that we went through there, and you sort out that room.
Yeah.
That
You can be
seems fair.
literally the backstop for the end of the world. You got this. I believe in you.
Thanks. Pointy stick.
Pointy stick. So the plan, Ben, is going to be to get as close to the top of the stairs, so crouching down with her shoulders braced against the trapdoor,
Okay.
and then suddenly bursting upwards, weapons like the glovey thing on one hand and then the pointer stick in the other, and just relying on instinct at that point to just hit everything that she can see.
All right. Okay. Can you roll a strength check for me first, please? That's +12.
Let's come on, Clarissa. Oh, I messed up the. Sorry. Oh, the tension. I'm going to get it wrong again just to build it a bit more. Uh-oh. I got... Oh, what does that mean? Hang on. I did mess it up again, it turns out. 1d10 plus 12. Okay, here we go. 18.
A total of 18.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You push the trapdoor up. It's heavy, and it's even heavier than you were sort of expecting. It seems unnaturally heavy, and as you start to move it rapidly, you realise there's a reason for that. There were a couple of people standing on it.
Uh-oh. I thought that.
As you push it up, they obviously lose their footing and fall. You throw the trapdoor open, and it clatters down onto a marble floor. You leap up to the top of the staircase and quickly glance around you. You are in the main atrium of a temple. It is a substantial temple, even though it is a private temple. It's a private chapel for the Crassus estate, and it is a very substantial temple to the god Mars. In fact, it's quite famous recently. It was recently consecrated for this purpose just before he went off to fight a war, and he built it in order to bring him the relevant good wishes of the gods before he went off to fight, before he set off to Brutium. So it's only a few months old as a functioning temple. There are, at first glance, somewhere between 100 and 200 people in this space.
Thanks, Ben.
They look, for the most part, very well heeled, very well dressed, very well turned out. These are some of the wealthy.
Do they look very well armed? Is the question.
They are some of the wealthy and influential of Rome, and yes, a lot of them have their highly professional, trained bodyguards and servants with them. And as you leap clear of the stairs, there is that comforting sound of about 40 or so swords being drawn.
She lands, looks around, realises that she might have taken a wrong turn, puts her weapon away, and says, where's the birthday boy? And then looks like she's getting ready to sing.
What role is this, Ben?
I haven't got the slightest idea.
I'm just going to say, I'm fist bumping Sparrow because I actually stunned Ben.
Okay.
Taking one for the meta mind. Yeah.
I am going to suggest that what you need to do here is roll a straight perception check, so at least you have the best possible information. So
okay, and that's what?
+4 for you. I'm sorry, that's Gaius's stats. I do apologise. For you, it's +6.
11.
A total of 11. They are absolutely not convinced by your cunning subterfuge, and you can see the relevant armed people now have very much interposed themselves between the wealthy and you, and are closing in on you fast. In the far distance, there are a couple of guys who seem to be running to get additional help.
Are there windows, or does this appear to be within a building? Can we see that
This
there's an
is
outside?
inside the main atrium, so you're inside a quite large marble space. There are windows, but they're quite high up on the sides. From where all you can see through them is black sky.
Oh, because it's night time, so there won't be any natural light either. Bugger. Okay, well, Clarissa, I take it the trapdoor wasn't on a hinge. It didn't flip open.
Yeah, it essentially flipped open, yeah.
Oh, okay. In that case, she's going to say happy birthday and then grab the trapdoor and pull it over herself as she retreats back down the stairs.
All right. Can you make a dex check for me, please? That's plus 12 for you.
Okay. $18.
All right. You grab hold of the trapdoor, pull it up off the slightly injured-looking people who were on it and landed on the floor, and then had a trapdoor land on them. You pull it shut over your head just as a couple of sword blades sort of poke down towards you, and you sort of trap them in the gap of the trapdoor.
Nice.
But those sword blades have stopped it closing fully, and you can already feel there are hands trying to pull at it from the other side.
Have I closed it enough to be able to shove like a stick or something through the handle so it at least jams against the ceiling that it's housed within? Just to buy us a little bit of time.
There isn't really anything you could jam it against, because the sort of top of the staircase is just cut into the sides of the rock. I can't think of anything you could brace it against.
Okay, in that case, Gaius, run. Just run. It's running time. In fact, if you remember that time you slid down the banisters, and I know you ended up almost breaking a leg at the bottom, but I think maybe that's the risk we need to take right now.
Hearing the urgency in the Slayer's voice, there's not many things that a Slayer will run from. Certainly not this one. I don't want to lean on it too much, but can Gaius try and cast a spell, please, before running?
Yes. Why not? What would you like to do?
I would like to turn the entirety of the trapdoor and its hinges into stone. Like fuse it with the rest of the floor so it doesn't hinge open anymore.
I like the logic. Plus 5.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay.
Pat just subbed. Well done, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pat. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. That's a total of a 6 as the difficulty.
Can I spend a drama to add 10 to the roll?
You absolutely can. 1 drama point.
Knock down the drama point. So it's an 8 on the dice.
An 8 on the dice. So, plus 10 for the drama point. So that's 18. Plus your occultism, which is 7. That makes 25. Plus your willpower, which is 6. That's a total of 31.
Wow.
Which, sounds good, but it's only actually a 9 in total success level. Okay.
What did he need?
He essentially needed a 6 in order to avoid any possible side effects or failure.
Okay.
So he needed to achieve a 30 and a 20, sorry, and he actually got better than that. Okay. So, Clarissa, you can actually feel, even as you're sort of letting go of it, the trapdoor suddenly drops really hard into place and indeed has become like a solid block of stone, which, I mean, for those up above, it now would appear to match quite neatly the rest of the marble flooring. So maybe you've done them a favour in the long run. And you can you can now make your way down the stairs without them immediately following you.
Well, I was going to ask, do we hear the sound of people breaking their fingers as all of a sudden what was wood now becomes stone as they're trying to grab it and get underneath it?
No, you don't hear anything like that.
That's a shame. Well, Clarissa just looks really shocked. And as she takes her down the stairs, she actually kisses Gaius on the cheek. She's so delighted. She's just genuinely astonished. And she says, "I'm telling your dad about that." And then she just takes off. Well, I mean, she runs to the bottom of the stairs and then she waits for Gaius to get in front of her.
Okay. All right.
How many were up there? Quickly.
Oh, I mean, it was somewhere between like 1 and 200, and apparently nobody had a birthday today. I don't know.
Which
it
is
was
odd.
like 1, 2, 3 loads is where we were on that one.
You were in the lots category, yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, 3 I can take comfortably in a fight, 4 a struggle, and then after that it's run. Like 1, 2, 3, 4 run. Yeah,
it's a fair measure, yeah. So you rapidly make your way out past the ceremonial chamber and into the long passage that leads to where you found the prisoners.
I mean, well, I don't know. I mean, guys, do you feel like fighting anybody today? Maybe.
I'm more inclined to trash the ceremonial temple on the way out.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Doesn't feel like a nice place.
No.
We may anger Mars, but
can we tip the bowl over on our way past it? That big, stupid, ugly, nasty IKEA bowl.
You know what? Well, let's give it a shot. You've got strength 6. Are you both going to try and do it together?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Then, with both of you together, that's Gaius has a strength of 2. So that's +4 for you, Gaius, +12 for Clarissa. Can you both roll for me?
14 for me.
So 14 plus is that a total 14?
Yeah, that's total 14.
And what?
I got 9 +4 for 13.
Okay, a 14 and a 13. So
27.
Both 3s. That's a 6. Okay. You manage to push hard against this bowl. The plinth is designed to move. The bowl on its stand is much more sturdily fixed to the plinth itself. But it is made of sort of bronze. It doesn't break exactly, but as you push against it with all of your might, you can feel it sort of buckle and bend over. So you've let people know you were here and that you weren't a fan of what they were doing, put it that way.
Are there any tapestries that we can tear down as we run past as well?
No, there are mosaics and murals, paintings on the wall.
Can I hit a mosaic with something as I run past it?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Let's make it a combat check.
With the glove with the spikes, I want to try and at least break some of the tiles, if not get them actually off the wall. And if possible, I want to punch the guy on the ground in the face. In the picture. In
the mosaic, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Make a melee check. That's 7 plus 6 for you, which is plus 13 total.
I like how somebody said, let's trash this temple, and all we did was push over the one piece of furniture and punch a mosaic in the face.
There's nothing to trash though. It's all nailed
Rock and
down. It's like
roll.
they knew we were coming. I know. We're like, really, Luke would be so disappointed in us right now. 16.
A total of a 16. Okay. You certainly deliver a fairly substantial punch right to the centre of it. You break a few tiles. It's, again, pretty clear that you're not a fan, but it's not all that satisfying, the damage you've done.
Well, do you know what? In the room where we found the guys, where there's other two people still are, we could, because there was like a table and some other crap in there, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to push that over as well?
We could pile it up in the doorway and set fire to it. So they can't follow us.
Yeah, sure. Let's try and be quick about it, though, because there is only one way in and out
Yeah, all right.
in either direction.
Well, you did just turn that way into stone, to be fair. Okay, so we get to the antechamber where the other two... What state are those two in? Are they still somewhat unconscious and...
I mean, there's not a lot of change. It hasn't been that many minutes since you left them. They are, I mean, maybe moaning in a slightly different position, but there's not a lot of change.
Okay, I'm happy with that. Fine. I grab like a trestle and a table and one of the torches or something that I can light the table with.
Well, I mean, if for example you push them up the corridor a bit the way you've just come, back towards the ceremonial chamber, it's not very far before you get to the first lamp, the first sort of oil lamp on the wall.
No, because what I want is I want to cause a bottleneck. So I want it in the corridor where they enter this new chamber. Instead of them being able to go through the chamber and then finding the fire in the next corridor, if that makes any sense. I want.
So which the way I'm suggesting you would push it is between the place where the guys are in the cage and the ceremonial chamber.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you push it back the way you've just come.
I'm going to try and fill that as much as I can and then, grab things, set it on fire. I'm not going to do a very thorough job, but I figure that, there must be some kind of fuel that's keeping the torches lit, so I'm going to be
Can you make a strength check? I'm using this mainly to work out how long it takes you to do this.
Okay, 1d10.
Plus 12.
Plus, what is it?
Plus 12 for you.
Ooh. 19.
19. Okay. All right. You manage to assemble enough of this sort of rough wooden furniture and get it in place, and you smash the oil lamp across it, and it starts to burn pretty merrily.
And I look at Garth and I'm like, that's better than a couple of saddles, isn't it?
Okay. Are you now heading out towards the stable yard area?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, to be clear, my intention is not to cause further harm to the two in the cage. Like, I don't want them to burn. I don't want anything untoward or awful to happen to them. I don't want them to die of smoke inhalation. I just want to put a massive and difficult to overcome obstacle in the corridor. That's my entire intention.
You make your way down the corridor back to the outside, and as you make your way there, you vault over the couple of saddles you left in the middle of the corridor, which of course now you can see clear as day, and charge out towards the stable area. You come out through that little sort of crack in the wall. Immediately you can see that the space outside is quite different than when you left it. Not the immediate space yet, but there is a fairly substantial line of torches being brought down a slope, like a path that runs down from the high ground where the mansion is, down towards this stable yard area. and there are dozens and dozens of people running fairly swiftly with torches down to get to you.
However, I feel this whole setup with the corridor through the rock exists as a shortcut, and therefore we have. I mean, we wasted some time setting a massive fire, but I feel like we still have the advantage of time on our side, especially as we've got all of these horses that you said already had their tack and saddles on them.
They do.
So let's just nick a couple of horses, guys. They're not even marked. They're just ready. Plus, they're going to smell the smoke and they're going to want to go. Horses do not like fire. So I say let's leap on one and get out of here.
You both happy to do that?
Yeah, the nice looking one that we saw earlier.
Yeah, ask him what his name is.
I'm not standing around talking to a horse while we're being pursued by that many people. He gestures off towards the torches.
Let's
I'll ask it when we get back.
Stevus Equus, that's his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
so
believe
she's
you.
Just gonna she's just gonna get the horse, the one that looks, well, the one that's pointing in the direction she's going to want to start galloping in as soon as.
Yep, I'm with you.
As soon as they're ready. And then, are you getting up on the same horse as me, Gaius?
Yeah, you might need to give me a hand.
Okay.
Reach up to.
She vaults onto the horse and then leans down to offer her arm to tuck him up.
All right, no trouble there. You lead the horse, or direct the horse rapidly out of the little stable yard area, and out onto essentially the same fairly rough but reasonably well taken care of winding path that you arrived at the stable yard on. The people who are coming down the side of the hill towards you are trying to sort of cut off any escape route from the crack, but they're not there yet. You've got a narrow window of opportunity to flee while you can. And of course you can see, though you can clearly see their torchlight anyway, you can see that they are a mixture of people who appear to be Roman legionaries or off-duty soldiers, and some of the people in the robes.
Interesting. That's interesting. But it's not as interesting as the possibility of getting out without either being caught or identified. So Clarissa just kicks the horse into action and, clatters away, I suppose.
All right.
Into the night.
Okay. All right. You can hear some shouting. Some people have heard horse hooves and are wondering if that's you or if they've caught you in time, and it's not clear to people in this very dark environment, because out here on the hillside there's really no light at all, really. So it's very, very hard for people to tell what's going on, and they are trying as best they can to cut you off. But as you head off down the slope of the hill, just before you, the brow of it cuts away your view of where they are, you can see that they are enthusiastically trying to cut off your access and hunt their way into the crack in the rock. And clearly you have evaded their trap.
Ha ha! I don't shout. That would be foolish. So we just escape on the horse. I'm hoping we had the wherewithal to leave the gate open so all of the horses are in a bit of a panic and trying to escape now, but I don't look back to check. We just ride. Where I kind of say over my shoulder to guys, where should we go to? Where should we leave the horse?
The opposite direction to home, I suppose.
The Viminal? Let's go to the Viminal.
Yeah. We can leave the horse there and then take the scenic route back.
There's quite a well-known route that you would know right down into the western edges of the Forum, very close to the Temple of Vesta. It lets out on the sort of western side of the Forum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
You head off in that direction. Can you both roll a notice check for me, please? Since you are...
Okay.
I got a 3 on the dice. I think
Okay.
that was a +5, is it? So an 8.
Yeah,
I don't remember what my...
a +7 for you.
Okay. 14.
14. Okay. You're riding as fast as the horse is comfortable going, given that it can't really see what it's doing. It's trusting you to know, of course, because it's a horse, but it's not going at a flat-out gallop. And that slows even more as you start to go down a slope. It slows down and loses some of its confidence. It's still trotting along, but horses don't like going down slopes for any length of time, and this one is also in the middle of the night, and there are torches and shouting and yelling and what have you, and you think it's okay. You can see some of the temples and spaces in the Forum ahead lit up, and that might help the horse to have some confidence about where it's going as well. And then you notice that the horse starts to speed up a lot. It's starting to panic and really go as fast as it can, and instead of egging it on to go faster and faster, you're almost trying to stop it from being quite so reckless in case it tumbles down. You cast an eye behind you to see what's happening, and behind you, racing down the left-hand side behind you, are what appear to be half a dozen absolutely enormous wolves. And that's where we'll call it for tonight.
Ah, Ben. I had so many questions about wolves then.
I know, right? Like, can they dance? That's bad.
How many? More. How many were in the picture from earlier?
Oh,
That's a
just
fair
ring.
question. Actually, I can tell you that exactly. There were 6 wolves in the picture. 3 sort of on each side in front of him.
Well, that doesn't make me feel any more confident about the next game. Lovely.
Gosh, thank you so much, Ben and Ewan.
Oh,
That was
thank
great
you.
fun.
That was.
I
Thank you both.
hope you enjoyed yourselves. I think that was quite fun for me.
Yeah.
I feel that whole episode was just like a big. It was actually a MacGuffin. Well, I'm going to send you. It's this terrifying place for no purpose at all. You're going to learn that there's a temple, and then you're going to run away. Yeah, this whole adventure was just like one bad decision.
Which is
Just
consistent,
Clarissa-
points, at least.
It is. Though we did get to do some good ruining. That was fun.
Yeah, we pushed something over. You punched a mosaic in the face.
Yep.
Bent a bowl.
And you hurt some people.
Yeah, take that bowl.
And really startled some people. And
Yeah.
and Gaius redecorated a trapdoor.
And there was some crying that we made stop, and not using the traditional method.
Yeah,
Also, you replaced the horses you'd stolen with a completely different stolen horse.
Steal. We brought them back.
Yeah, maybe. But
I'm
thanks
going
to
to be
everyone
thinking
who
about what happens
hung
now for a
around
long
as well,
time. Yeah,
Thank you
all the
for everyone
people.
who came along to see, and anyone who caught up on VOD as well.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Right. So we will resume this in episode 3 at some point in the future. We will schedule it when we can.
Episode 3 of our one-shot Buffy.
A one-shot Buffy, yes. And
Well, this might set a record.
it's entirely possible. You never know. And Socks, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no, thank you for inviting me and making me this ridiculous character. And letting me play her to the fullest of my absurdity. Thank you.
It's okay. There needs to be one person in every generation that we turn
Who can be this silly?
character. Yeah.
There is only one, yes. Right.
But
Thank you so much.
thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody in the game. Thank you to everybody who watched. It's Monday. Smokey's Monday.
Spooky's Monday, yeah.
Luke will be playing some more video games. His Hard Rain.
Hard Rain. No, Heavy Rain.
Heavy Rain. The delightful, charming, and ever so uplifting Heavy Rain.
Which is a really broken walking simulator when he gets hold of some of the missions. It's really quite a bleak story, and probably getting more bleak since he's already lost one of his playable characters.
Yeah, but it wasn't the lady in the nice jeans, so we're okay. We're still safe.
We're
We've still
okay.
got that to enjoy.
It wasn't the boy's father, and it wasn't the woman with the jeans. Yes. So yes, that's on Monday night this time. So not tomorrow evening. Luke has given us forewarning because he's all the way away in Eastry, I think it is, to play his cricket tomorrow.
Yes.
So that'll be Monday. Hope you can join us for that, and hope you can join us next Thursday for another Luke Plays. I think he's got at least one more mission on Road 96 on Thursday, and then on Friday we're doing our regular Traveller game, which I think is Season 2, Episode 23, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Insane. But on Saturday, there's another Tales from the Baltic Star, and we still have places available. So if you fancy exploring Kara's history, have a look in our Discord and sign up.
Yes, come along to the Discord, and we will we will have you jump in for what I think in this case probably will genuinely be a one shot. I never know these things now. I mean, who knows?
And you never know, maybe this time we'll avoid having to deal with a giant sphincter worm. I'm not sure Kara has one of those in her past like Agnar did.
Maybe.
It's
maybe
quite nice.
Maybe none of the guests will kill a family member of the PC.
Look.
Maybe. Who knows?
He told me to do it. That was prefaced.
No, it was indeed.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing over the next few days. Monday is Luke Plays Heavy Rain. Thursday, Luke Plays Road 96. Friday, Traveller. And Saturday, Tales from the Baltic Star. Yes, please come and join us if any of those are interesting to you. And if you want to play, then there is place available still on Tales from the Baltic Star. Thank you so much. And thank you to Fids. And thank you to Ewan. And good night.
Good night.
Bye.